Hi, it's Chris Ahlum with Ahlum Arbor Tree Preservation. I'm here at Franklin Park Conservatory, and today we're going to be talking about pruning trees. I'm sitting underneath a honey locust tree, and today we're going to talk about what we're looking at when we're pruning trees. A lot of times when we think about pruning trees, we think about pruning larger trees when they're very mature. But one of the most overlooked pruning is actually on smaller trees after they've been planted, after they've been in the landscape a year or two. And what we want to do is we want to develop this tree to be a strong tree when it's older, so we don't have to do a lot of pruning and corrective pruning on it. If done right, we only need to take off a couple branches each year, each couple years, to make a really nice, strong tree. So today we're going to talk about that. When we're looking at this tree here, some of the first things we're going to look at is our branch attachment points. When we think about a storm and when trees break in a storm, most of the time it's when branches are narrow or they have a very narrow branch attachment point. I have a good example down here of this. When we look at this tree here that was cut, it has a very narrow attachment point. This is actually included bark here where the two branches grew together. A lot of people think that maybe the branch started here. When we turn this around, you can actually see the branches actually grew all the way down, probably outside of even what our sample is. And all this in here is included bark where they're growing together, which also causes this to be very weak and very prone to breaking in storms. Over here is a better attachment point, and very similar to what we have here with this honey locust. It's about a 90-degree attachment point, one of the strongest attachment points any tree could have. And that's what we really look at when we're pruning these young trees. So when we're looking up into here and we're going to be looking at branches, we're going to be looking at branches that are going to be very narrow or growing really close together that we want to take care of before it gets bigger. I have Sam with me. He's in charge of our tree care division, and he's going to be helping us today with some of this pruning. So Sam, I know that these two branches, they went off so they can raise the canopy for mowing and stuff. But what else do you see on this tree that we should be looking at?
Over here we have these two branches that are growing one on top of another. So we're going to remove one of those to give more room to the other one to grow. And then if we look at to the top of the tree, we have like two branches that are almost the same size. And we wanted to have only one that is going to be the center of the tree. So when you make a cut, some people start just making the cut from the top. What it's gonna do, it's gonna rip, and then it's not gonna be like, it's not gonna heal really well. So what you're gonna do is like make two cuts first, and then you're gonna make the final cut. I'm gonna show you how it's gonna do like when you rip the branch. So some people just start from the top, and then the weight of the limb is gonna do this. So you don't wanna do that, because after that it's not gonna seal the wound. So what you're gonna do is like make an undercut, and then you make the top cut. Now we remove this branch, and we're gonna make a nice cut here where you have the color of the branch and a nice angle. And when you get to that, almost to the end, slow down, so that way we don't make a rip cut. Now you have a better cut than this guy that was here.
So Sam, let's talk about that, because I don't think a lot of people know what a proper cut is. A lot of people think it should be really flush to the trunk of the tree, or it should be really stubby. So this is an old cut that was made, and it's a little too stubby. Here you made a cut that's a really nice cut, just outside of the branch bark ridge and the collar, which a lot of people don't understand what that is. Yeah. But we'll explain that here real quick for them. Whenever you have branches coming together, you have this bark that kind of ridges up here, and you can see, different places up in here where that occurs. So we don't want to cut into that, because that's how the tree grows and the tree hills over. But if it's too stubby, it's just going to take a lot longer for that tree to grow around and hill itself over. And then obviously you explained that rip cut, because if we rip it, that's just a larger wound for that tree to have to heal. So why don't you show us some of the other, because I think you have a pruner pole, and we talked about the top and getting a central leader.
So for this, where you just want to find like the good angle, so you're gonna have like the blade against to the branch that you're gonna leave, and then we just find a nice angle that is gonna make the cut like the same like this guy.
And Sam, you're choosing that branch because why?
Because for me that one is going more to the side, and I want one that's going more upright. So I don't like that one that's going to the side. In this case, we're gonna remove the bottom branch because if you look at it, it's going up and it's growing into the smaller branch. And to make a nice cut there, I have two handsaws here. So one is thicker than the other one. The thicker one, it won't allow me to make a nicer cut. So I have this thinner one. And we're gonna make that the same method that is like 3 cuts. Watch. And the same thing here, I slow down so I don't make a bad cut.
Excellent. Sam, let's go ahead and do this other one, and maybe we can fix this stub of old cut, and then we'll be all done. So as Sam finishes this up, you can see we basically made 4 cuts today. 2 were just raising the low branches, and then we'll come back in a couple of years and see how the tree's going. So you don't have to do a lot of cuts and a lot of pruning every single year if done right.